Welcome to Get Offset. My name is Emily, and I'm finally here with the Boss OC-5, their newest take on their famous octave pedals. Most famous is the OC-2, which is covered in this pedal via that toggle that says Vintage. Quick note about this pedal, it has Vintage and Poly modes. A Poly will probably be a little bit more similar to a Pog. And there's a toggle up here that you cannot see that allows you to go from bass to guitar and back again. So let's talk about the controls. Firstly, let's talk about octave pedals. An octave pedal takes signal that comes in from your guitar and takes it up or down a number of octaves. So you can do with this pedal an octave up, an octave down, and 2 octaves down. What it does is it adds a lot of depth of character and tone to your sound. It's very popular with acoustic guitarists. The poly stuff especially will be popular for people who probably don't even have a bassist or play with a bassist and they want to get a bigger, fuller sound. Totally understandable. Octave pedals were famously used by Prince for the When Doves Cry intro and the solo for Let's Go Crazy. And in my experience with octave pedals, which is limited to the OC-3, which wasn't popular but I loved a lot. Sadly, I don't have it anymore. I used it to kind of beef up solos. That's what I did. And let's just kind of play with it. So I'm going to play first the pedal by itself, and then I'm going to throw the Woodcutter by Big Ears in there because since I usually use octave pedals to beef up solos, I'm going to add some dirt to it. So here's my dry clean, and I'm using the Hirsch Stratocaster neck pickup. I feel like neck pickups generally track better for octave pedals into my Strymon Iridium. All right. The Vintage is poly. It's a monophonic. I think that's the right word. So it does one note at a time. So I don't have any octaves blended in there. So I'm going to start blending in this first octave down. Alright. Sorry, I was just trying to test something there. So you can hear it going down. The tracking isn't perfect, but it's pretty nice. You can blend in as much or as little as you want. I think a little of the down goes a long way. Let's try adding some octave ups there. Try adding a little more. So that really adds a lot of bulk to the sound. Let's just remind you of what it sounded like before. You just heard that weird tracking. Again, you can do one note at a time, so if there's a little bit of bleed over on those notes in the vintage mode, it's going to sound kind of weird. Not sure which note to hit. Something to keep in mind. I'm going to add some lowest. I feel like for the octave down, a little goes a long way, but to get a good octave up on the guitar at least, I feel like you need to really crank it. Now let's add the 2 octaves down. Take the octave up out. Take the octave 1 down out. And I don't know if it's that I'm playing it through the Iridium, but I haven't really. It's almost more like a presence, that lowest octave. At least when you're playing it down here. But if you're playing up here, it's a little bit better. Turn that down. And that's with no direct signal. Yeah, see, that's just too low. But doing a little bit of that, especially down octave when you're doing a solo, kind of cool. So I have both octaves down, the 1 and the 2. That's the Let's Go Crazy solo. I don't really know when doves cry. It's very fast. But it's fun for getting those kind of bassy kind of sounds. So that was my quick look at the octave up and down on the vintage mode. Yeah, it's cool for solos. Especially if you want those 80s Prince vibes. I really like it for that. Beefing up the sound is really what octave pedals are about. Now I'm going to get into the poly mode. And this is more like a pog, a micro pog or something. And the idea is it tracks chords really well and plays along with you. So you have octave up and down to bulk things up. And you have on this side, you don't get 2 octaves down. Instead, you get a range. And the lowest range is what people are really excited about because it will mean that when you play chords, it will only double that bass note. So it'll be almost like having a bassist. And I think the Sweetwater demo did a really good job demonstrating this, but... So if you do one at a time, it will get the bass note every time, but if you strum, basically let things ring out. You can increase that range. So that's probably going to be big with the chordy type. So I would prefer the just kind of the lowest note. The range doesn't seem to apply to the range seems to apply just to the lowest note. And then of course if you throw lead stuff in there, it's going to do the octave down. So that's another thing to consider that I thought was a little bit weird. The Sweetwater demo did a very good job explaining, like showing how that could be used for like a walking bass line when playing like jazz stuff. But I'm not going to do that because he already did it. I don't love that. I don't love that setting. I'm probably never going to use it. All right. Well, now I am going to showcase this on the ukulele. I'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm here with the Billie Eilish signature ukulele. And you've seen it, so let's hear it with the, I think I'm just going to do this on the poly setting because I don't really imagine many people care about hearing this with the mono setting. And doesn't this just blend right into my sweater? Alright. I have it on lowest note. Let's expand that range some. Turn down that lower octave sound. Yeah, so that definitely will get you some more bulk with acoustic instruments, will round out your sound, especially if you're just accompanying yourself without doing the whole thing of like getting like you don't have to have an octave pedal and lay down your bass riff, which I do a lot when I do my music live. I have a looper, I have an octave down pedal. Typically I've used the Matthews Effects Chemist, and I'll lay down my bass riff and then I'll lay guitar stuff over that. You can do it all at the same time basically if you just want, or if you're just trying to get a bigger, fuller sound. So next I'm going to try this on the bass, so stick around for that. All right, I'm back. I am going to go back to the vintage mode, and I am going to turn down all the octaves. This is going to be a wild one. My Fender Mustang Player Series bass, FYI. All right, now let's do some octave up. Alright, let's do some octave down. course, 2 octaves down is also a thing that exists on this pedal, so. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. All right. Add some. At that point, I'm sorry. There's no reason to use that octave 2 down for me personally. I like it with some gain. A little bit of that octave down, a lot of that octave up. It needs something extra, like a little bit of dirt, or I think it sounds kind of goofy. Let's check out the poly stuff. Kind of nervous. Try with that. Yeah, I mean, poly mode wasn't made for the bass guitar at all. So, I like that a lot more on 6-string than I did on bass, even when I turned it to the bass setting. That just wasn't my super duper favorite thing to hear in the world. But I really do like it on guitar on that vintage mode. It's that's how I would use it. I would use it on the vintage mode to bulk up any kind of shreddy-esque solos. The poly mode, I can totally understand using that in 2 main ways, to accompany yourself and get that that lowest note. So just get that range all the way down. Really gives you that fuller sound. And then as the Sweetwater demo showed, and I'm sure other demos have done this too, if you put it through something like a rotary pedal or something like a light vibrato, you do get organ sounds. But unless you're also planning on using the vintage mode, or if all you want is the organ sound, just get like an organ emulator pedal is what I would do. But if you are like, oh, I would love to use that and use this, like use the vintage mode or use it to accompany myself on acoustic instruments, that's awesome. And if you want to add like some fuzz after it on the bass to get those kind of like nasty meat box kind of sounds, that works. That's just not how I make music. So that, grain of salt on my opinion there. If that was what you were going for, all the more power to you. Somebody's going to comment on this video, tell me I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Which is fine, I don't really care. Great. But I might do even more videos with this. I haven't decided. I have a submarine pickup around here somewhere that David Ishizaka of the Timber Owls sent me to try out. but I am not there in my life yet. But please check this pedal out we have Reverb links, affiliate links, a Sweetwater affiliate link, DistroKid affiliate link. So Sweetwater and Reverb, if you're going to buy this pedal, please consider purchasing from those two affiliate links. Please like, comment, subscribe below. Check us out on patreon.com/getoffset. Check out merch at getoffsetpodcast.com/shop. Whew, thanks for watching. Thanks for understanding. Until next time, my name is Emily. Goodbye.